Hello and welcome. My name is Mandy Habener and today we're going to take a short class together. It'll be a short flow aimed at the shoulders and the neck and a general tune-up for the upper body. So if you're feeling like your upper body needs some love, you're in the perfect place right now. Have with you a couple of blocks or something that can act as a block, maybe books or some strong cushions like bolsters. Also a strap. Okay, and then once you've got those, come back, sit down, and let's find a comfortable seat together. So you might be sitting cross-legged like I am, and I'm actually propped up onto a block here, which allows me to sit a little bit more comfortably. You might try that. Or if you're more comfortable, bring the knees forward and sitting back onto the heels, you're welcome to do that as well. Just finding a position where you feel nice and comfortable and can stay for a couple of minutes. Okay, beginning to close your eyes down, lengthening up through the spine. So beginning to stack one vertebrae on top of the other, drawing the shoulders back and down, taking them away from the ears. Lengthening all the way up to the crown of the head. And just taking a couple of deep breaths here. And then begin to open the eyes and take your right ear towards your right shoulder. Just going to the point where you can feel some stretching sensations there. If you're not getting too much, try dropping the chin down towards the chest. You might also explore taking the head a little bit further back. Just finding that place where you get a nice stretch down through the left side of the neck. If you need a little bit more, take your hand and rest that onto the side of the head, just to add a little bit more depth to the stretch. Taking just a couple more breaths here. And then slowly releasing the hand. If you did bring that up, bring your head back through center and then taking the other ear to the shoulder. Keeping both shoulders down as much as you can. Exploring, taking chin forward, tilting the head back. Just finding a place where you can feel a nice deep stretch into the right side of your neck. If you feel you need a little bit more here, you might take your hand, just rest that onto the side of the head. Just give you just a little bit more weight. Not strongly pulling. Just going to that point where you feel a nice stretch down through the side of the neck. Releasing the hand, if you have brought that up, bring it back onto the knee. Head comes back through center. From here, just turning the eyes to one side, looking over the shoulder, then coming back through center and over the other way. A few more times just like that, looking from side to side, just exploring the natural range of motion available in your neck today. Coming back through center and then dropping the chin towards the chest. Eyes down towards the floor, just lengthening out through the back of the neck. If you need a little bit more here, take your hands, interlace them behind the head and start to draw the chin a little bit closer. You may even resist the pressure of the hands if that takes you deeper into the pose. Bring the head back up, releasing the hands if you have them on the head, and then taking eyes up towards the sky. Opening up through the throat, just letting the head naturally fall back. And coming back through center. Dropping the chin towards the chest and starting to take some circles here. So any direction you like, as big or as small as feels good for you. Taking 2 circles in one direction. And then reversing that direction, going back the other way. And once you've completed those circles, bringing the head back to center, from here, bring your hands together at the heart. Begin to firmly press the hands together, starting to feel a little bit of a stretch through the arms. And then from here, reaching both arms out towards the sides of the room. Tuck the thumbs under, fingers come over the top and begin to circle out through the wrists. Just picking one direction there. And then going back the other way. Releasing the hands, spreading through the fingers, then turning the fingertips up towards the ceiling and then turning them down towards the floor. Curling them up towards the sky and then coming back down. Just starting to work into the forearms, so curling the fingers up and down. Last time like that, curling up and then drawing them down. From here, inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky. Interlace the fingers together. As you inhale, press the palms up. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears and really start to draw the belly in. Okay, so really reaching up through the side of the body. Taking a couple more deep breaths there. And bring the hands forward at shoulder height, rounding into the upper back, drawing the chin towards the chest. And again, stretching out through the palms. Next, inhale, brings the arms back up towards the sky, shoulders away from the ears. Then bring your right hand down towards the floor, reaching the left arm up and overhead. If it's okay for your neck, turning the gaze up. Stretching into the side body and trying to keep both sit bones firmly planting down into the floor. Next inhale brings you back up through center, both arms to the sky and coming onto the other side. Just finding that nice deep stretch through the side of your body. Turning the gaze up if that's okay for your neck. Taking one more deep breath there. And then as you inhale, come back up through center, both arms up towards the sky, maybe turn the gaze up. As you exhale, draw the hands down through center. Taking both hands to meet behind your back, interlacing them together. As you inhale, open up through the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together and taking the hands down towards the floor. Taking 2 more breaths there. And then releasing the hands. Left hand comes to right knee, taking a gentle spinal twist. Then coming back in the other direction. Looking over the shoulder if that's okay for your neck, really focusing on keeping length through the spine. And then once again coming back through center. Moving away from whatever it is that you're sitting on, if anything at all. And then from here, let's come into child's pose. So you can take your knees apart, that will stretch more into the hips, or keep the knees together. And start to bring the torso forward, relaxing the forehead down towards the floor. If the forehead doesn't come onto the floor, you can use a block and just rest that under the forehead. Actively pressing down into the hands here, stretching into the whole front of the body, all the way under the arms. And from here, walk both hands over towards the right side of the room. Just going to the point where you can feel a nice deep stretch through the left side of the body. Then relaxing the forehead down back onto the mat. Taking really deep breaths into the left side, all the way into the side ribs and up into the armpit. As you exhale, feeling that release. Next inhale walks you back through center and come all the way over to the other side. Walking both hands off to the left. Going to the point where you can feel a nice deep stretch through the right side of your body. Relaxing the forehead down there. Taking deep breaths into the right side ribs, expanding all the way up into the armpit. As you exhale, feeling it release. One more breath there. And then as you inhale, slowly coming back through center, extending both arms out in front, spreading through the fingers, firmly pressing the palms down to the floor. As you inhale, come up, lifting onto the knees, stacking your wrist, elbow and shoulders up in a line and taking the knees directly beneath your hips. From here, as you inhale, drop the belly, take the gaze up. As you exhale, chin towards chest, belly towards the spine, rounding through the upper back. Inhale brings you forward, relaxing the abdomen, taking the gaze forward. As you exhale, chin towards chest, belly towards spine, rounding and arching. 2 more times like that. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, arching up. Last time, inhale, coming forward. And exhale, arching up. Finding a neutral spine position there, belly drawing lightly in. Then from here, inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky. Then thread your right arm behind the left. Take the right shoulder onto the mat and the right ear onto the mat. Okay, this might be enough for you here. We're stretching into the upper back area. If you need a little bit more, you might take your left arm up and around, search for the thigh. If you can use that, start to rotate the left shoulder back. Just taking a little bit of extra weight into that right shoulder. Releasing the hand if you've bound that up. Left hand presses down into the floor as you inhale. Reach the right arm back up towards the sky. Then right arm comes down. Moving on to the other side. Inhale reaches the left arm up. As you exhale, left hand folds behind the right. Keep the hand to the side of the room, laying onto the shoulder, resting the ear down onto the mat. You may choose to stay here, or if you want to come further, take the right arm up and over, taking it towards the hip, and then seeing if you can roll that shoulder open. Just aiming to stretch into the upper back area here. Be no stress or pressure in the neck. Quite a comfortable position. Releasing the arm if you've bound that up. Pressing the right hand down into the floor. As you inhale, coming back up, reaching the arm for the sky. And as you exhale, bringing the hand down. Taking both hands in front now, mat distance apart, perhaps even wider. Keeping your hips above the knees, but just dropping down through the chest. Okay, so forehead to mat, or you might even bring chin down onto the mat and take the gaze forward there. Taking deep breaths. From here, slowly coming forwards, walking the hands in a little, coming onto the knees, tucking the toes under, lowering all the way down onto the mat till you're resting on your belly. And from here, we're coming into a deep shoulder stretch. So take your right arm out towards the side of the room. Left hand comes down beneath the left shoulder. So it would look like this. And then from here, rolling onto the right side of the body. Okay, if you need to, you can place the sole of the foot down onto the floor to take you deeper into the stretch. The main thing is you're feeling a stretch through the front of the shoulder here, and you may wish to place a block down under your head if that's more comfortable. Taking deep breaths there. Making sure that hand is at shoulder height. Alternatively, if that sole of the foot's not on the floor, you might just have it down here somewhere. Main thing is to be feeling that stretch through the front of the chest. Coming back onto your belly. And then making your way onto the other side. So reaching the arm out, palm pressing down. Other hand comes down beneath the shoulder as you begin to roll onto your side. Going to the point where you can feel a stretch. Resting the head down onto the floor or onto a block, using support as you need. If you feel quite open there, bring the sole of the foot onto the floor.
And using that to help turn you a little more. Taking a couple more deep breaths. And as you inhale, slowly coming back onto the belly and just resting both arms beside the body, bringing one ear onto the mat, shaking the hips out if that feels good, and just letting the shoulders drop there. Bring the hands down beneath your shoulders. Take the upper arms in towards the midline of the body. As you inhale, roll the shoulder heads back, curl the chest up. As you exhale, slowly come on down. Inhale rolls you up. Exhale brings you down. Last time, inhale rolls you up. And exhale brings you down. This time, take both hands behind your back. Interlace them together as you inhale. Draw the hands back towards the heels, lifting on up. Inhale reaches up a little bit higher. So you exhale, try and retain that height. And then slowly lower down. Releasing one ear onto the mat. Relaxing the hands down as well. Just letting the whole body drop there. Hands come beneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under. From here, find downward facing dog. So sometimes it's easy to move into this from child's pose. So find child's pose first to get your distance. Then tuck the toes under, lift the knees up, hips to the sky, heels towards the floor. Okay, so you want your hands to be around shoulder distance apart. You want your feet to be hip distance apart. And then really actively pressing down into the hands, trying to sink the heels back as you lift the tailbone up towards the sky. Stretching into the shoulders a little more deeply here. Really actively bend the knees as much as you can and start to lay your belly down onto the thighs. Stretching out through the arms. Then as you exhale, start to straighten out the legs, sink the heels back down, stretching out. One more time, bend into the knees, start to lay the belly onto the thighs, sinking down through the chest, and then start to straighten out the legs once again. Bending the knees, looking between the hands, step, walk, or hop to the top of the mat, feet hip distance apart, taking hold of the elbows, dangling forward over the thighs. Taking a little rock from side to side there. Releasing the hands down towards the floor, drawing the chin in towards the chest as you slowly roll all the way up into a standing position, taking a big shoulder roll once you arrive at the top of the mat. Rolling back the other way. And then as you inhale, bring the shoulders up. As you exhale, let them down. 2 more like that. Inhale, squeezing them up. Exhale, let them go. Inhale, squeezing them up and letting them go. Okay, another little shoulder roll there. Then take hold of your strap. The belt will do the job just as well. So anything that's strap-like, grab hold of that and bring that over to the mat. If you have one of these sharp metal buckles, then take the buckle into one hand, just so it's not swinging around. And then taking the hands to be quite wide, bring them out at shoulder height, holding onto that strap. From here, feet, comfortable position, so maybe hip distance, perhaps wider. As you inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, you're going to try and take them back. So see if you can keep straight arms as you bring the hands back behind you. As you inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, hands come back forwards. Inhale, reaches the arms up. Exhale, takes them back and down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling back and down. If you can, walk the hands in a little closer. Come again. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling back and down. Inhaling back up. And exhaling forwards and down. Last time, inhale, reaching up.
And exhale, coming back. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, bring the hands back down beside the body. From here, taking a narrow hold on the strap, so hands shoulder distance apart. You might bring the feet in a little bit closer this time. As you inhale, reach both arms up for the sky, holding on to that strap. Drawing the belly in, tailbone towards the floor. As you inhale, lengthen up. As you exhale, bending towards the right side of the room. Actively pressing that left hip away, trying to stay square through the shoulders and through the hips. Gazes forward, chins forward. Exhale takes you a little deeper. As you inhale, come back up through center, lengthening up, drawing the belly in, and then as you exhale, coming back over to the other side. Again, staying square with the shoulders and the hips. Taking deep breaths there. Chins forward. And then as you inhale, slowly coming back up and releasing the strap down. And just taking that over towards the side of the room for now. We're going to move into a couple more stretches, but we're going to do that from the floor today, keeping it a pretty chilled out practice, more looking for stretching and lengthening through the body. Okay, so finding your comfortable seated position once again, either onto the block or sitting back onto the knees. And then from here, take both arms out towards the sides of the room and then crossing the right arm under the left. Binding at the arms, they might wrap once, they might wrap twice. Lift the elbows up, take the forearms away from your face. So we've got eagle arms happening here. Then if you like, start to fold forward into this, just to the point where you can feel a nice stretch in between the shoulder blades. So for some of us, you might get more of a stretch up here, might be here, or even up here. Just finding that place where you can feel a nice stretch happening in between the shoulder blades. And taking a couple of deep breaths there. Next inhale brings you back up, unbinding the arms, taking both out towards the side of the room, and this time going the other way, so left arm crosses under the right. Binding at the arms once again, once or twice. You don't need to be able to touch the palms together as long as you've got the cross happening, elbows lifting up, forearms away from the face, and you're feeling that stretch in between your shoulder blades. If you need a little bit more, you may begin to fold yourself forward into this posture. Again, just searching out that place where you can feel a nice stretch happening in the back. And once you find your position, come to hold there. Taking a couple of deep breaths in and out. Coming back up through center. Releasing the arms out towards the side of the room and then bringing them down. A couple more shoulder rolls there. You can help those shoulders to relax and release. Okay, you might need the strap once again, so finding the strap and just place that down in front. And from here, you'll take your right elbow and point it up towards the sky. Okay, you might use your left hand to help guide your hand further down the back, and then you're going to reach around and see if you can connect the hands together. Okay, if they're not quite there, you might grab onto your shirt, or this is where the strap can come in handy. You can use that strap around the back to connect the arms together. Okay, main thing is reaching up through the right elbow and drawing that left shoulder back. Lengthening through the whole body. Taking a couple more deep breaths there, staying really tall. begin to move on to the other side. So releasing the arms, releasing the strap. Again, giving yourself a little shoulder roll there, helping to release the tension. And then coming on to the other side. And this time taking the left elbow up towards the sky. Bending, seeing if you can use your hand to help it down a little bit further. Reaching back and around, see if you can connect the hands together. If you can connect the hands together, begin to lengthen up. If you need to, use the strap there. This time taking left elbow up towards the sky and drawing the right shoulder back. Really long through the torso. Stretching up with every inhale that you take. And slowly releasing the arms, taking them both out. Again, a couple more shoulder rolls. Just letting them relax and drop there. Taking the strap away towards the side of the room. A couple more stretches. I'm going to use 2 blocks for this one, or perhaps a cushion. So if you have like a cushion that's a bolster that's quite hefty, as in it won't completely sink down when you put your arms onto it, then that's the way to go. So for this beautiful stretch, you're going to stack your 2 blocks up. They might be on the flat side or on the high side. Okay, I like to use the high side for myself. And then you need a bit of a gap between them, about the width of your head. From here, elbows come down onto the blocks, quite close in together. You want your knees directly beneath the hips. From here, hands come together and start to drop down through the chest and melt down. So you want a firm connection of your arms on the blocks. You might need to adjust them a little to do that. And then bring the arms up and overhead as you drop down through the torso. Just going to the point where you can feel some deep opening through the front of the shoulders. For some, we might not need to go very far to feel that. Seeing if you can relax the body there as much as you can. Just taking deep breaths. Okay, just 3 more breaths there. And slowly start to come out, so lifting the hips, bringing them forward, pressing the elbows into the blocks, and slowly coming down and away from them. Just taking the blocks off towards the sides for the moment. And then from here, we're going to come to lie onto our backs, and I've got just a couple more postures before we come into our final rest today. So you will need a block once again. You can use a cushion for the second one as well. For this posture, we'll take the block onto the medium side, and it's going to go down onto the mat. And then at the base of the skull, you'll feel these bony protrusions, 2 really strong bony protrusions there. We're going to try and place the edge of the block up against that area of the body. So I come to lie down, and then I'm going to take my head down onto the block. Find that little spot where it's on the ledge. Legs can be out straight if that feels good for you, or you can bring the soles of the feet to touch and open up through the hips. Main thing is arms out towards the side of the body and just really relaxing the head down there. Okay, you may wish to just rock the head a little from side to side. So we're giving ourselves a little bit of myofascial release here. Can be really helpful if you're experiencing any headaches, which often comes from tension in the shoulders and around the neck. So if you find a spot that feels particularly tight, you might want to hold there.
take a couple of extra deep breaths. See if you can release some of that tension away. Letting the head surrender there as much as you can. If you haven't quite found that position where it can be really comfortable, just keep fiddling with it until you find a spot where you can really comfortably relax there. Letting the head feel the support of the block, not fighting or resisting it. Trying to make it deeper than it is, just enjoying that nice release. This is one pose where I could stay for hours and hours. Especially when you get into those really nice spots, you're like, oh yeah, I could stay here. Just breathe into it and let it all go. Coming back to center. If you've been off to the side a little, just take a couple more breaths. Letting it all drop. From here, using your hands for support, lifting the head up, taking the block away and just coming to rest on your back for just a few moments. We'll then move into our final posture for today. We'll use the block once again, or this is where you might be able to use a cushion. Again, you've got a couple of options, low height or the medium height. You'll place the block down onto the mat, and then from here, you want to line it up so it's in the center of the back and the shoulder blades are resting onto it, but the head can come off the edge of the block. So hopefully you can see that. And then palms facing up towards the sky. Just letting the feet naturally fall away. So what we're aiming here is just this opening up through the chest. Just letting the palms turn up. Just letting the body sink heavy over the block. So if you feel you wanted something deeper in this pose, you would just take the block onto a higher level. Alternatively, there is another way to feel this pose a bit more differently. Another one that I quite enjoy is you could go again, low side or high side, taking it up to kind of that line where a bra strap would go, and then lying back over. Just taking a little bit more into the thoracic spine. A bit of a deeper opening up through the chest. Seeing if you can completely relax over the block. Notice if you're holding any tension into the glutes. So you allow that to relax and release. Relaxing the shoulders. Letting the block take the weight of the body. Couple of breaths there. And as you feel ready, use your hands for support, pressing down into the forearms, drawing the chin towards the chest, slowly coming away from the block, taking it off to the side of the room, and coming to lie comfortably on your back. Okay, letting the palms turn up towards the ceiling. Direct the shoulders down away from the ears. Create a little bit more space for the neck. You might want to shake the hips out a few times and let the whole lower body relax. And letting
the shoulders, relax and let go. Closing the eyes down and just letting your breath return to normal. Just letting the body absorb all the beautiful benefits from that little shoulder and neck tune up that we've just done. Begin to deepen your breath. Starting to introduce small movements back into the body. You may start by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Feels good taking a big stretch out overhead, lengthening arms and legs away from one another. Being really long through the body. And rolling onto your preferred side and just taking a few moments to pause there before coming to sit up into a comfortable seated position. And then bring the hands together at heart center, gently bowing the chin towards the chest. And sending yourself some gratitude, some thanks for taking the time out today to invest in yourself, in your well-being, to send your shoulders some love. I hope that that's helped to loosen up through the upper body a little and you've got something out of that. Hope you all go on to have a wonderful day. Thanks very much for joining me. Namaste.